Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Zone. Yes, we have rebranded the channel. As some of you may know, this used to be a gaming channel, and I used to do a lot of gaming, especially during the pandemic. But I've kind of got to the stage where I don't really like live gaming anymore. So I decided that I wouldn't let the channel go to waste, and I'd rebrand. So first of all, I just want to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel when it was a gaming channel. I will have no problem now if you decide to unsubscribe, of course, because I do understand that. But uh, if you will give me a chance on here, you will see that we're going to be talking about stuff that happens here in Ireland and stuff, and in relation to politics, all the stuff that's going on around the world. So I just wanted to come on and do a little stream. I've got a couple of topics that I do obviously want to talk about today, and I hope to kind of stream almost every day, whether it's to cover an article or whether I'm going to have some guests on. Even though we originally launched on X, and by the way, we are on X today, and the only reason why we're on X today is to let people know that we're on YouTube now. So if you go to the bio on the X account there, you will see that the YouTube channel is actually there. So if you'll subscribe, because it won't be going on X anymore. See, what was happening was I was doing the broadcast on X, and while they were getting some great views, and we were getting great views on them, the problem is that they disappear on X. You have to go searching for them. And the thing about it is that I want, because I've interviewed a few of the candidates at local level that are running, and of course I'm going to get them back on here, and obviously it'll be on YouTube then for everybody to access rather than on X, because I know everybody isn't on X. So if you're currently watching on X, this will be the only stream on X, and from now on it will be on YouTube. So get subscribing to the YouTube channel. But let's get straight into the first topic now. To make sure that things run smoothly for the first one, what I'm doing is I'm going to put up some screenshots. The articles that I'm covering are in the link description, so if you want to read the article yourselves to see what I'm talking about, but I will put a screenshot up to show you the headline of what we're going to be talking about. And I have the first headline ready to go. See, I'm even all prepared today. And it looks, I won't jinx it, but so far it looks like we don't have any technical issues yet. So fingers crossed that stays that way, folks. Right. Here we go. So the video of protest at Roderick O'Gorman's home sensationalised, say Gardaí who were on the scene. Now, as you do know, folks, if you're living in this beautiful country of ours, you do know that the left have, and the media, have this thing of sensationalising anything that we do, whether it's a local protester or local communities coming out and protesting. And by the way, there is one outside Ballymun Garda station today at 5:30, so I want to give that a special mention. I put up a short last night. I have put up a few videos as well for you guys to check out of Helen Mcntee, who we will be discussing now in a few minutes. But as we know, back to this, we do know that the left sensationalise everything that goes on in this country. Now, the only reason why the Gardaí, and I want to make this clear though, the only reason why the Gardaí are coming out at saying it was sensationalized is because they've been in the firing line this time. Because in the video, there's a Garda car there, and the Gardaí seem to be doing nothing, according to the media and the left, and they're allowing these bullies and bigots to protest outside the minister's house. Now, listen, the left weren't banging on when Sinn Féin were doing the exact same thing, right? It just seems to be a problem when working class people get together and decide to protest. So I'll read the article, but I'll leave the headline on the screen. So, but as I said, the article is in the link description if you want to read the article yourselves. If you go if you tap onto my YouTube, obviously if you're watching on YouTube and you scroll down, you'll see the link description there, and that's where the article is. So I'm going to read this article for you, and I'm going to give you my opinion, obviously, while I'm reading. But what I'm going to say is that this is exactly what's been happening in this country the last few years. Everything has been sensationalized, but the media are part of that problem, and a few mouthpieces online on X, and Paul Murphy again. You know, Virgin Media News love bringing in all these people, Paul Murphy, Hazel Chew, and all of these other lefty muppets that come on to national TV and lie to the Irish people and say, oh, there's a bunch of racist bigots running around the country. They're called the far right, right? And this is what they do in Europe as well. Look in America, look in the UK now. The term far right, it wasn't really used in England that much, right? But you've seen it now that everything that the media is coming out with over there now, it's far right, it's far right, it's far right. And the reason why they do that, folks, is to dehumanize you, right? Because if people see you as an individual, they might start feeling sorry for you. So this is why they come up with labels and they tar everybody with the same label. So people don't see you for who you are, that you're an individual, you have individual personality, individual thought, and you have individual opinions. And this is why they come out with all of these labels. So anyway, let's get into it. A detective Garda who was involved in the policing the protest outside Integration and Children's Minister Roderick O'Gorman's home last week has said videos posted online are an example of disinformation. He said, Detective Garda Mark Ferris of Blanchardstown Garda Station made the comments while speaking at the annual conference of the GRA taking place in Westport, County Mayo. Now, just to fill you in there, as far as I know, Helen Mcntee and the Garda Commissioner themselves have been snubbed, have been told to stay away. So here's the media, how they reported. A gang of up to 12 masked men gathered outside the politicians' homes, and placards and banners were stretched across his driveway gate, along his wall, and fastened it outside the polls. Now, do I have an issue with that? Absolutely not, right? But I will say something here, because a lot of us have been saying this behind the scenes. When we go to protest, we never mask up. We don't hide our faces. So we don't know who these people are that are outside the minister's home, right? And why they're masked up, right? Because we don't do that. We gladly show our faces because we're not ashamed of what we're doing, right? And you know, there's been a few, you know, I won't say conspiracy theories. That's the wrong. But we've been kind of thinking about this whole thing, and I've you know, the bottom line is how do you know that it's people belong to our movement that are doing this? Because as far as I'm aware, and the people that I've spoke to, they haven't got a clue. So, you know, this could be, and I'm just throwing this out there because if you think your politicians are not capable of doing it, but these could be lads that were basically paid to stand outside his gaff, right? because we have seen recently with the left the tactics that they are willing to use to try and frame us as this far right. We saw only recently with a journalist, Paul Connolly, right? Him and others conspired to incite violence at a protest, and they were ran out very quickly. Now, Taoiseach Simon Harris was among those who criticised the far-right protest. There is no far-right in Ireland, by the way. It's a delusion of the left. It's a strategy that they use in every country. Anybody that's opposed to anything that they propose and they want to push through, and you have a different opinion to them, well, you're far-right. You're not far-right, right? There is no far-right running rampant throughout Europe. All it is concerned citizens that are fed up with the bull crap that's coming out of Brussels and coming out of everywhere else, right? That's the issue here. People have just had enough. They're fed up. And instead of the people that are in charge, that supposed to be listening to us, right? They're supposed to be listening to us, but they refuse to listen. And the more they refuse to listen, the more the anger builds up. And they're surprised they are that the whole of Europe, and they're all the politicians, we're meeting together because there's a wave of far right across Europe and all of this other crap. It's bull crap. It's absolute rubbish, right? It's the same narrative that they played in America. Look at America. America is the perfect example. Everything that's happened, that's happening in Europe has already happened in America. Every playbook, every little tactic that they used is being used in Europe now. Except we've been seeing what's happening in America. We've got our eyes open, and this is why we've been able to get ahead of the game. I mean, I see big accounts out there saying Ireland has fallen and all of this other rubbish. Ireland hasn't fallen, and it hasn't fallen because those people on the ground, people that I've gotten to know, people that I know that are good people, right? And those communities coming together. That's why Ireland hasn't fallen. So for the people out there that keep saying, you know, all you foreign journalists and all, right? Wise up. Don't be putting out a false narrative because you were stupid and blind not to see what was coming. The Irish people aren't stupid and blind. We saw what was coming and we were prepared. Anyway, the video of the incident was circulated online and showed up to a dozen masked men gathered at the property. A large banner was tied across the gate stating Minister O'Gorman hates children, and 3 other small banners were attached to railings on his front wall. Now, for anybody that's wondering why people are upset with the minister, let me explain what's happened, right? And then you tell us, right? You people in the chat that are watching, you people that are listening to me or watching right now, right? Hear what I'm going to say. He is the Minister of Children in this country. And while he's being minister, children have went missing in state care. Right? They've went missing. Some of them have ended up in places where, you know, people who pay for a certain service, you know, those places. Right, some kids have been found in those places, and by the way, it's not just Irish kids, right? Because the left say that we hate migrants. Migrant kids have been taken as well, right? And this is why people are angry. But instead of the media asking the questions of the minister that they should be, what they're doing is instead they're attacking people that are outside his home and calling them far right and bigots and hateful, when they're not getting down to the root cause of the issue, which is the fact that he's asleep at the wheel while kids are going missing in state care. It's not that bleeding hard to figure out. So yes, people are angry because of our history. We do not have a good track record with children in this country, looking after them. The same with women. We don't have a good track record. Okay? And this is why these things, this is why you journalists, it's your responsibility to ask the questions that should be asked. And the question that should be asked is, Minister, what are you doing? Where are the kids? Why aren't you answering questions? And most importantly, why isn't the media asking those questions? Apparently, he deleted files, right? And he deleted information which would have led to people being caught. And apparently, the rumor is there was high-profile people on that list, right? And us as a people are just supposed to ignore that. We're supposed to ignore the fact that the minister did something like that and refuses to answer questions and then has a bit of a cry because some woman asked him a few questions in the street weeks before, and then a couple of blokes turn up at his gaff with banners and stuff. Yeah, they're balaclavaed up, but they didn't commit any crime. And now the whole country's in uproar over that, but they're not in uproar over the kids. So it's this information, because you can clearly see in the engagements with the police that daylight was just setting. And later on in the clip, you can see in daylight where a number of protesters were putting placards outside the minister's address. He said that Gardaí would have reacted differently if we came upon these protesters. There was no now listen to this. There was no arrestable offence for us there, and they were directed to take it away, and that's what they did, added Mr. Ferris. So after they were told to take their shit down and leave on their merry way, they did, but the left out there made it out that they were there all day and they were doing this, that and the other, and Garda spokesman now has come out to confirm it's bullshit. But we knew it was bullshit. Us that are intelligent and know what's going on in this country already knew it was bullshit, right? But the bottom line is that you've got TDs, you've even got the leader of this country, right, who wasn't elected by us, by the way, right? We've got the leader of this country going along with this stupid narrative of a far right in this country. We are in serious trouble, folks. We are in serious trouble. And when I get onto the Helen Mcntee, right, I'm telling you now, we are in trouble big time. Now, I put up a couple of audio, right? I had to cut out the video. Obviously, I had to take out the video and just take the audio. And I've thrown them up of Helen Mcntee. Now, if you haven't seen those two videos, I go and suggest that you watch them before we get to the next topic of conversation. Because Helen Mcntee is not only the worst minister that this country has ever had, she is the most dangerous person in this country right now, along with her boss. And I'll explain in a few minutes why. Absolutely terrifying, the logic that these people have. Now, here's the thing. The narrative, they're getting desperate, right? And you know, we've seen other stuff go on as well, right? They're looking at every protest that we're at now with a fine-tooth comb, and they're looking for anything that they can get their hands on that will show working class people. And remember, it is working class people, because we've got a snobbery, we've got a problem in this country, actually, right? The left look down, and the elites, the government of it, they all look down on us, right? And there's this snobbery that's creeped in, right? And anybody that apparently is at one of these protests that's protesting against the unsustainable migrant policy that this country has, right? Then you're jobless, you're on the dole, you're a waster, you're probably involved in illegal activities and all of this other nonsense you get. Yet these Muppets are out every week, by the way. Every week, right? Protesting with their with their Palestinian flags and their communist flags and their rainbow flag. Listen, the weird thing about the left is they go out to protest for housing, yeah, but they have every other flag. They have every flag conceivable with them, right? But it's supposed to be about certain issue, but it's about everything in this country. They cannot just stick with one thing, but they're out every week in this country, right? Protesting, right? And they call us racists, and yet they're protesting against a people, right? A people, right, that were oppressed before, right? But because someone started something and they've decided they're going to finish it, now everybody is out against those people. It's history repeating itself, by the way. This is the ironic thing about it, right? It's the ironic thing about it. They call us the racists, they call us the bigots, but yeah, it's all projection. And that's all it is, folks, right? It's the same in... Now, listen, I have another channel, right, that deals with the entertainment industry. But it's the same in fandoms there, and it's the same the way they go on, these lefties, right? Everything is just, you know, anything that they can use for you know, this, show how inclusive they are and all of this. They'll hop on it, right? I mean, they use the same terms in fandoms that they use in society to call us out because they have nothing. Because when it comes to facts and stuff like that, that's where we have them. So they resort to all of these little names, you know, these hurty words, as we like to call them. Right. I suppose we have to get on to this one. Oh, right. I'll throw this up on screen. Right. Just want to make sure everything settles down before I start speaking. So, this is our Justice Minister, Helen Mcntee. And Helen Mcntee right now at the moment has been in front of an inquiry, if that's what you want to call it, a committee. And they've been grilling her on this whole migration stuff. So, as I said, there are two videos with the audio, if you want to go and hear what she actually had to say. But there was one particular thing. Now, there was lots of things that she said that I could actually jump on, right? But I want to jump on this one, this particular part of it, because it's absolutely ridiculous, right? And she was questioned by Michael McNamara, right? The audio is there. Go and check it out. Sorry, tongue twisting words today. So again, the article is in the link description. I'll leave the headline up there, but I'll read it for you anyway. The headline: 80% of asylum applicants come from across the border. Committee hears. Now, a few months back, when I launched the old X streams, I actually said this. I said that we needed to start getting heavy-handed with the British government. And no offense to any British people that are listening to me, and I know some of my English friends are actually in the chat, but no offense. But the bottom line is that the British government are not doing enough to stop these migrants from coming over from Northern Ireland and coming down then to the south, right? And I said it, that the Irish government had to start getting tough on the UK government on this, because, you know, Richie Sunak, I know for a fact, knows what's happening, and he's allowing it to happen. He'd rather let some other country deal with it than he having to deal with it, right? And I said this, we have to seriously consider closing that border again. And I know people will start screaming and shouting at me that you'll upset the apple cart and all, right? But the bottom line is we've got to stop the flow of migrants coming into the country from Northern Ireland. It's as simple as that, right? So you can't all like say, well, you're for all these people to stop, and then all of a sudden say, oh, hang on for a minute, we can't take these steps. We've got to take steps, right? Or the Irish government grow a backbone and actually call out the British government and tell them to get their act together. That's what an Irish government should do anyway. Right, grow a fucking backbone and tell them out straight. Listen, sort out your fucking migrant crisis and don't be letting them come into our country through Northern Ireland, right? Because Northern Ireland's part of the UK. They keep banging on about it, so do something about it. Anyway, let's get into this article. How are you, Chris? It's nice to see so many years that are on the other channel stick with me with this one. I was pretty confident that you guys would anyway. Obviously, the guys that have that originally subscribed to the channel because it was a gaming channel. As I said, you know, I did that during the pandemic, but I didn't want the channel to go to waste. But if you consider to stay subscribed to me, I will try, you know, keep you as entertained as I can. I don't know if you can keep anybody entertained doing this news, but as I said, if you do feel like you need to unsubscribe, I just want to thank you for the times that you did all tune in and watch me do my game, and I really do appreciate that. But I just don't. I've kind of just gotten bored of live stream game. It's not fun. I got to be honest. It's not fun. So I'd rather you know, just play games without anybody watching me, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, let's read this article. So, more than 80% of asylum applicants come to Ireland over the border from the north, Justice Minister Helen Mcntee has said. Ms Mcntee was speaking at the Oireachtas Justice Committee on Tuesday about the Migration and Asylum Pact, which Ireland is set to opt into, which we don't have to, but again, because of the treachery of this Irish government, they've decided that they're going to opt in. Now, this is the thing. This should be the referendum, and this should have been the referendum, and this is what we actually should have been voting on. And I would say that this is what has to actually happen. There must be a referendum on this, because I can guarantee if you put it to the people, right, it's going to be defeated. The Irish people are going to demand that the government opt out, right? But they won't put it. They won't. They distracted us and wasted millions, over 25 million on a referendum that we didn't even need to have if we had had this referendum. So one major feature of the new pact is the new border procedure, which aims to increase the speed of processing people coming from safe countries. It will also apply to any entrants who have destroyed their identity documents, people believed to be in danger to national security, or those from countries with 20% or lower approval rate for asylum applicants in the EU. Now, just on that one. So what Helen Mcntee has basically said, that if you're one of these migrants, right, and you rip up your documents, okay, now that's one law broken, by the way. That's one, okay, ripping up your documents, right, that's breaking the law, right, that's one law broken. So after they do that and they enter this country, this beautiful country of ours, illegally, right, they've committed another crime. Now, apparently what happens is if they're caught, right, they decide to go through official channels, right, apparently they're charged and they're put in prison. So This is what basically the Irish government is saying to all of these migrants coming here. It's okay, sure, lads, if you rip up these documents, right? Sure, it's okay if you enter this country illegally. You've committed 2 crimes. It's grand. It's grand. Now we're going to do you a favour. We're going to throw you in prison for a while. We're going to give you 3 square meals a day. And then when you get out of prison, then we're going to process your application a lot faster and you get to stay in this country. Well done. Congratulations. Now you tell me, right, for everybody that's listening here, you tell me another country that applies that same principle. Because I know in other countries, if you come over to a country illegally, first of all, you rip your documents up and then you break the law by actually going into the country. So that's two crimes you've actually committed before, you know what I mean, as you've stepped on whatever soil you've stepped on, right? Normally what happens is these people are detained, right? It's ascertained whether they're a danger or not. And then if they are a danger, they've committed crimes that are part of the ASAP. Helen Mcntee is basically telling you, no, that's not what's going to happen. No. It doesn't matter if they're the worst scumbag in the world. They're going to get to stay in this country. So, to the people out there, to the communities out there, I just want to say something to all you guys, right? For the last few years, you have been called far right, you have been called bigots, and you have been told, you have been telling, no, the media have been telling the Irish people that you have been throwing out misinformation. Well, Helen Mcntee yesterday just admitted everything that you guys have been saying all along. So, well done, because again, you have proven that the government are nothing but a bunch of liars and charlatans and traitors, and will sell this country out. Now, by the way, you know, Irish nationalists now are out canvassing at the moment and stuff like that. And I says, you know, we didn't really need a general election right now because we need to give them a chance to get out there and get and to be seen in their communities and to go canvassing and all. But I don't think we can wait till the summer for a general election. A general election has to happen this year. It has to happen this year. And the reason why I say that is because Helen Mcntee and Simon Harris have said that an amended hate speech bill is still going to be pushed through, right? They're still going ahead with their migration policy, and we have seen that there are buildings all over the country that have been earmarked for these centres, right? So they're not letting up anytime soon, right? They're not letting up anytime soon. They're not even going to the British government to say, hang on a minute, stop these people from coming down south. If not, there's going to be consequences because we cannot take them in. We are not a dumping ground for every Tom, Dick and Harry to come over here. I am sorry, but we're not, right? We're not. And we're not going to allow it to happen either. So Ms. Mcntee said around 5,000 people have applied for asylum in Ireland this year, and over 50% of those are secondary movements where a person has come through another EU country. Now, she was asked, there was 103 or something of those particular cases, and she was asked basically why they weren't all sent home. 3 or something were sent home, and the rest were basically there. And her answer was, well, it's not that simple, right? And your man says, well, it is. It's your department that screwed it up. So what gives? Go and check out that audio. That audio is on the channel. But this woman, this government is incompetent, right? They have totally, absolutely screwed up here monumentally. And by the way, this whole situation doesn't get fixed overnight, by the way, when people get in that actually want to do right by it. This is going to take years, even decades, the sort of damage out that they've done to this country. Right? There's shanty towns coming up everywhere. Right? A good friend of mine in the movement, she goes to college. I'll give her a shout out, Lindsay. She's got her exams today as well. So good luck with all of them. And you know, that time of your life can be very stressful doing exams. Oh, Jesus. I just went in, did what I had to do anyway, but you know, it is stressful. But a route that she walks with her friends when they're going to college, there was video footage put up. There was, and it showed these little shanty little places popping up everywhere, and it's absolutely disgraceful that there is no concern for the safety of people, of Irish people walking past these places, right? Remember when St. Patrick's Day happened and the government wanted Ireland to be seen in a good light? What did the government do? They moved all the migrants down the countryside. Then what happened? We found out that the journalists in this country were actually giving them a ride back to Dublin. So she said this. She said that the pact would allow for easier returns of those people and would mean Ireland requires less accommodation. She said that the current system is not working for anybody. But see, the thing about it is she's in charge of it, right? So if the current system does work, by the way, right? What's happened is that they've overwhelmed the system because of their loosey-goosey approach to migration in this country, right? We do have a good system in place. Actually, it could be strengthened in some areas. To be quite honest, we should have more active border security and stuff like that, and more you know, when people come into the official ports and the airports, there should be more rigorous, you know, searches of people coming in from other countries, as we see happening in Australia. We need Australian based laws in this country, to be quite honest with you. We need to tighten up completely, right? It's as simple as that. The world's not safe, right? Our government and Helen Mcntee cannot guarantee the safety of the Irish people. And when they come out with bullshit saying that there's no correlation between the rise in crime in this country with mine, it's there for everybody to see. It's there for everybody to see, right? Every day it's reported in the media, even when they do report some incidents, right? It's always, and I love how they do it, because you say a man from Cork, right? And then you read down, then you see their name, you go, oh, right, okay, so they're not actually Irish, but fair enough. Right, but the minister there will have you believe that there's no correlation in the rise of crime and unvetted migrants coming into this country. And by the way, she's actually admitted that a lot of these people coming into this country are either trafficked or undocumented migrants. But yeah, she rolls out the red carpet and says, "You're welcome. Cé Míle Fáilte," right? Not knowing who she's letting into the country. And we've seen in other European countries, unfortunately, that some of the people that have come in have bad intentions, right? We have seen attacks, and we've seen attacks across other countries. Sweden has been hit, you know, France has been hit multiple times, even the UK is being hit. You know, it's only a matter of time before something happens in this country. And you know what the funny thing is? I read an article there last year, actually. The Gardaí are monitoring a terror cell that's actually in this country, right? They're monitoring them. Like, they know they're a terror cell, but they're just going to monitor them. That's grand. We'll get out the binoculars, lads. We need an anti-terrorism unit, right? And these people should be deported ASAP. It's as simple as that. No person that belongs to a terror cell or is related to anybody that's part of a terror cell should be living in Ireland. Right? That's just common sense. That's just common cop on. Right? But I'm pretty sure when some people see this video, you'll have some in the comment section. Oh, you're a racist. Listen, if you're happy for Ireland to go boom, 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 right, and to have multiple Irish people dead, hundreds of people dead, thousands maybe, well then, fair enough if that's the Ireland you want to live in. But I don't want to live in that country, right? I want to live in a country where I can feel safe, my wife can feel safe going out, right? That's the country I want to live. That's the country I want to go back to. So she said that the significant number were travelling from Northern Ireland. We engage with UK authorities on a regular basis, Miss Mcntee said. So that's basically she basically goes, "How are you? This is Helen. How are you, Richie? We need you to sort out the old migrants there coming over from your country to Northern Ireland there and coming down south. Could you do something about it?" Right, and he basically tells her to go and F herself, right? And she'll just fucking hang up the phone, and that's the end of it. You know what? Charles Haughey got a lot of stick, right, and rightly so, right? I mean, he was corrupt a bit, so I'm not going to defend that. But the one thing about him, I will say, is when it came to fucking dealing with the British government, he had a fucking backbone. And he didn't take any shite from Margaret Thatcher, even though she was called the Iron Lady. He took no shite off her, right? Or any fucking, any world leader out there, right? He might have been corrupt a bit, right? If he wasn't corrupt, if he hadn't got his hands in any of that, he would have been considered one of the greatest leaders we had in this country, right? But he tarnished his whole reputation with the brown envelopes and all of this other crap over the decades, right? That's the problem, right? But when it came to dealing with people, that's the type of leader you need for Ireland now. You need a no-nonsense that doesn't take any shit. A Charles Haughey, but without the corruption. Yeah, but listen, the economy was bad even before him, before Charles Haughey took over. So I mean, the 70s and 80s was really bad for this country. I remember the 80s very well because I was obviously around at the time, and you know, I seen my parents struggle with leading fucking, what was it, 4 kids at the time. So you know, but what I'm saying is, if you had someone of his caliber without all of the shit that came with him, the baggage, that's the type of leader that you do need. You need someone with a backbone in this country that's going to turn around and say to the UK, listen, Richie, get your fucking act together, end the fucking story, sort this out, or we're going to sort it out. '70s were good, at least that's what my father used to say. The '70s when my dad was working, and my dad was made redundant and all in the '70s. But I suppose the '70s were a lot better than the '80s in the fact that it wasn't as bad in the '70s, but the '80s, obviously, it all completely went to crap. You know, and that's when in the '70s, especially, is when Europe and the ECC, all of this start coming to fruition and stuff. So, you know. So the PNSI work closely with the Gardaí, identifying where people are coming through Northern Ireland and applying for asylum here. But that's not true because they're coming in undocumented into the UK as well. So how can the police over there and the PNSI up in the north and the Gardaí actually ascertain where these people come from? You can't. It's a lie. It's a lie. They don't have a database. this is the thing that's stupid about this country. They don't actually have a fucking database, right? Helen Mcntee has been caught out loads of times on that. She says they're fingerprinted and all she did, and it was the airport authority came out, or the people that are in charge of all the people coming in said, no, that's not true. It's not true. There is no database. We don't have a database. She's at the, and only recently, by the way, and I'm not going to mention his name, because for the simple reason I'm not going to mention his name is because he'll probably play the victim and all of this other crap, and then send all these followers. Well, I say send all these followers. He has hardly any followers. But there's a fella that has come from Jamaica, right, and came to Ireland for a better life, right? And because there are people protesting against the absolutely disgraceful migration that's happening in this country, right? He's decided that he's going to come out and tell other migrants in this country that they better arm themselves up, and it's okay to steal from us because we're all a bunch of racists. Well, maybe you should learn a bit of Irish history, you little muppet, because you will see that we were victims of racism and our people were nearly starved to death. We actually lost millions of people through migration and through fucking immigration, I should say, and through fucking starvation. Right? Okay? And I hate this argument by the left as well. Oh, there's Irish people all over the world. Are the Irish people that are all over the world on the dole? Are they? No, I'd say the majority of Irish people that are out there in the world are actually making their own way in the world and are paying their way in the world. And they're working, whether it's legal or illegally, they're still working. They're not sitting on their arses, right? They're not roaming the fucking streets. They're not in tents and then signing up to the every week to get their, or lining up every week to get their fucking social welfare. Are they? They're not getting free gaps. Are they? No, sure they're not. No, they're working. So this argument that she's come out with, you know, that Irish people are everywhere, black. Yeah, they worked their way. Look at the United States, right? We helped with the Italians and all the other migrants over there, helped build that bloody country, right? Irish people have worked all over this fucking world. So to actually come out with that argument, you know, that there's Irish people, that's a bullshit argument. And this other argument that they come out with, and I actually got this so-called race baiter, the same fella that I'm just at the being talking about there as well. He came out with a post with someone that had committed heinous crimes against women, involving that word that you can say on YouTube. And he thought he was being a smart arse because he read the headline, but he obviously never read the article because all he seen was Dublin, right? And he thought it was a Dublin man. And he put up a post to suggest, oh, look at all the right-wing bigots are quiet on this one. It's very telling, isn't it? I went in and I read the article. Within the first couple of lines, it shows that your man is actually fucking Scottish and isn't Irish and escaped the UK to come to fucking Ireland. So his big fucking W ended up being the biggest fucking L that I ever came across, right? Another race-baiting fucking idiot in this country that's trying to say that we're racist. When we've had our own troubles, we've actually helped fucking people throughout the history of this country. You just have to go back and see the amount of people that we fucking helped in this country. We're far from fucking racist. I can fucking tell you that. What you know what the problem is that some of you that come over here are so fucking ungrateful. That's what it is. Yous are unfucking grateful, yous are. And instead of fucking admitting that yous are ungrateful, yous take it out on the fucking generous Irish people and the generosity of the Irish fucking government. And we're saying enough is a fucking enough, where enough of yous are bull crap as well and yous are crying. Right? Okay? When there's our own people out there that can't get a roof over their heads. So count yourself fucking lucky of what you got when you come over here, and don't be complaining about services and all the other shit, because we have the same issues here for fucking decades, right? And if you don't like it here, right, and you don't like what's going on here, I suggest then you board a flight and get the fuck out of here. It's as simple as that, right? We don't have any obligation to take anybody, any dickhead from any other self-entitled dickhead around the world. We don't have that, right? Okay? And just because we're white as well, this mentality with these people as well, well, if you're white, you've got to be racist. I'll go through our fucking history. We're far from fucking racist. We were targeted, and boo fucking who, right? BLM and all of this other nonsense, right? You don't hear us fucking bitching and moaning about what happened to us all the fucking time and using that to get out of arguments and using that as a fucking shield because you're an awful fucking person. And then there's videos of this wanker in places where he's being housed, and he's being told, you can't use an oven, you can't use a microwave, it's a fire hazard. And I can tell you, they're absolutely right, because I was in the homeless system for a while, right? You're not allowed to use an oven, you're not allowed to use a microwave, but they do actually provide those things in a common area, right? But he was so self-entitled, he thought he could put art in his room, and then he started getting abuse of the staff, and now he's the one that's coming out playing the victim, saying, oh, well, I'm just protecting myself against the racist bigots and my family. No, we're trying to protect ourselves from you racists and you bigots, because yous are racist and bigots towards the people that have fucking taken yous in. Ungrateful. Ungrateful. That's what yous are. Right? If you don't fucking like it, and I don't care how this comes across, if you don't like it, go fucking home. Right? Improve your own fucking country. Right? Okay? And this is another thing. I will bring this up in another stream. Right? But this whole thing of all of these migrants running in their elections absolutely infuriates me. Right? Why don't you just go home to your own countries and make your own countries better by running in his or getting involved in politics over there? And don't give me this shit, but it's corrupt and all this. Every country is corrupt, right? But eventually you get somewhere when you get good people in, right? But don't be coming over here and telling us what the issues are here and what Irish people and all of this, what's on their mind. We already know we have the same issues that we've had for decades. Right? And I think it's absolutely disgraceful that I've even seen a couple of Ukrainian candidates. They came over here because they were fleeing war, but yet now they're allowed running their local and general election. Are we taking, like, what kind of country do we even have that we're allowing that to happen? No, that's listen, I said this on, I'll say it again, that's election interference. Because think about it, right? And I want you to think on this. These migrants that are coming over, they're granted citizenship by the Irish government. The Irish government, hence Helen Mcntee, Simon Harris, the current government that's in, right? Who do you think the migrants are going to vote for? Do you think they're going to vote for Sinn Féin or any of these other parties? No, they're going to vote for the people that allowed them to come to this country and have given them basically everything. So this is election rigging by Fine Gael, and it's election interference. And nobody in the media is talking about this. It is election interference. Absolutely it is. And we're allowing this to happen. Right, let's we've got a few comments. So like all my other channels, I want to obviously get a bit interactive. So I'll just read some of these comments that have been left in here. Now some of these people are on obviously follow me on the other channel. So to you guys, I know you support me in everything that I do. So just first of all, I just want to say to you guys in particular, thank you for continuing to support me on anything that I do. It really is appreciated. To the new people that have subscribed, if there is new people that have subscribed, welcome. To the people that subscribed because it was a gaming channel, I hope you're not too disappointed, but I've just kind of grown out of the gaming online thing. But if you feel like you have to unsubscribe, I really do understand. But if not, welcome, and I hope you do enjoy this new journey that we're going on here on this channel. So I want to give a shout out to Scottish Stavros and friends Wrestle with Pop Culture. We got Lindsay in the chat as well, and I'm good, Lindsay. I hope you're good as well. Daniel says, I'm not going anywhere. I knew you wouldn't anyway. And we got another one of me friends as well in the chat, Cinnamon Toast, and he says we need to protect our children. We absolutely do, mate. We absolutely do. I can't say the word I'm thinking on here, but you get where I am going. It's all good, Daniel. It's all good, my friend. Ireland has a right to protect herself, yes, and her citizens. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, mate. The hatred for the working class is unreal. It is. It's a snobbery. It's a snobbery, it is. And I don't like it. I recently found myself on benefits due to circumstances. I know, because you are working. Because I remember that I remember I'd be doing streams and you'd be in work. Especially when I did my gaming stream, sure, you'd join me in work and you'd watch and support me. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. Same with this plonk we have in Scotland. Is unelected, corrupt, hateful, racist, bigot. He hates the 96% of the white population. I mean, he's a lunatic. He's a lunatic. Scotland fell a lot faster than I thought it would. And we got Chris Persia, another one of me long-time subscribers that's been following me on any journey that I've been on. So again, seeing you people in here are actually really makes me day, because I know yous will keep supporting me, and that's brilliant. Good luck on the rebrand. Thank you very much. I am streaming on the other channel tonight, by the way, so I don't want you thinking that this is the only live stream. I obviously have my usual guests. Well, I have to check actually, see if they're available. But if not, I'll still be coming on to do a stream, so don't worry about that. Chris says she's not doing her job. 181 illegals were supposed to return to their home countries to be processed properly, yet only 3 returned. Negligence. Absolutely. And she was called out on that. And then when your man asked her, Michael asked her, well, what's the story? And she says, well, it's different. He says, no, it's your department, so what gives, basically? And she can't answer, man. She looks like you know what? It'd be brilliant if she did interviews all the time, or she was interrogated like this all the time, because within a few weeks or a month or two, the public that have been brainwashed thinking that she's doing a great job will actually get to see what she's all about. And she isn't really that bright, to be quite honest with you. She used to hold the brolly for Leo when he was, when she was a junior minister or junior, that's all she's good for. She's an umbrella prop. That's it. Mcntee proved we're not far right, merely correct. Exactly. Same things happen in your country, Canada. Do you know what I mean? Same things happen in the UK right now. It's happening in America. This whole thing has infested the whole world. It's like a fucking cancer. Noel, speaking as an oppressed citizen living under a hate speech, nothing good comes from that bill. I know. Hardest time is a bit wondering what happened. Yeah, we've relaunched the channel under a new brand because I don't do live gaming anymore. So I didn't want the channel, just close the channel down. So I rebranded it. And if you want to stay subscribed, as I said, welcome. If not, I understand totally, but I want to thank everybody that has subscribed and stayed with me. IRB Fenian says we need to ban the US and British embassies from Ireland. They're the ones who create all the Islamic terrorists. World peace will never exist, says Lindsay. And Irish Fenian bringing up about obviously Charles Haughey. As I said, I do agree with the things that you have said, but what I'm saying is personality wise is what I probably should have said there. We need a leader like that, just not with all the baggage. Well, I don't think I ever liked the police service of Northern Ireland anyway. And in the early days of that conception of that, there was a lot of racism towards Catholics and bigotry towards Catholics, but we don't talk about that. It's okay to be bigot towards Christians and Catholics nowadays. It seems to be the trend. Nothing's sacred anymore. Even if you're not a religious person, it's absolutely disgusting, these celebrities, especially in America, the way they mock Christians and Catholics. The population of Ireland should be around 25 million, given we've always been around 50% of the population of England. It will be, if the EU gets their way, just won't be Irish people. Yeah, well, if you think of the amount of Irish people that actually died during the fake famine, because it wasn't a famine, it was a systemic destruction of the Irish people. And of course, the two countries and its people now, we've come a long way. I've got a lot of friends in the UK. Some of my family is actually English, and we've come a long way as a country, but the establishments are still rotten to the core. I don't think we ever officially ever got an apology off the British government. Yeah, listen. I've had plenty of conversations about that whole thing in Ukraine, and I don't think we should be facilitating those people, to be quite honest with you, because before all of this kicked off, all of the politicians were saying how corrupt Ukraine was, how Ukraine was infested by neo, what, and then that all just disappeared then when Russia did what they did. So, I mean, look, I don't think any Ukrainian should be running in elections here in this country. It's election rigging, end of story. It's interfering with Irish elections, and it shouldn't be. But the Irish government's facilitating. Now, listen, I've done a bit of digging actually over the past few weeks. I've thrown a lot up in private chats that I'm in. But there's this kind of asylum seekers kind of co-op, and their job is to help migrants integrate into Ireland, but it's also to get them an education, get them into politics, get them into whatever they want, try get a roof over their heads. So there's a lot of it's all funded by these NGOs. There's a lot of corruption, and by the way, who funds the NGOs? The Irish taxpayer. So it's as I said, it's corruption from the top down. It's absolutely disgusting. It's in every facet of Irish society. We need to tighten up our borders like Australia and all the other countries. Yeah, we really do. We really do. Because, look, as I said, I'm going to say something here now. We cannot afford to wait until next June for this general election. The general election has to happen this year. Now, whether it's the end of the year, it has to happen. Because I don't think we can get to June. By June, when we get to the next general election, the hate speech bill will be enacted. Right? There'll be thousands more migrants that have come into this country. Right? We'll be in a worse off position than we are now, a year from now, basically. That's when the next year, just over a year, is the next general election. We'll be in a worse off state. The general election, nationalists are, you know, I said it at the time when Simon was being brought in, Sinn Féin were calling for a general election. And I was like, no. We don't need a general election right now because we need to give nationalists a chance to get out there, start canvassing and to get themselves ready for the general election. But I think they need to be ready before the end of the year because this government has to collapse. I have to call a general election because we will be worse off. And I'm telling you now, we will be worse off than what we are right now, a year down the line. Right? And we could see that Helen Mcntee and this Irish government are not going to ease up. And we can clearly see that there are blatant flaws in everything that she's doing and this government is doing. But yeah, they've got their friends in the media and they've got their high-profile accounts all over social media that will spin this a different way. That's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against a machine. But we've already defeated that machine once. Well, we've defeated them a couple of times now. And we'll defeat them again. Right? We've got the momentum. But they're not slowing down and they've proved it. Right? And there are some nasty elements on the left that are doing things to frame our side of the movement. And I won't say exactly what they're doing because I don't want to get into trouble here on YouTube, but you know exactly what I'm talking about in relation to these buildings climate changing, as we call it. Right? There are sinister elements within the left that I believe that are actually behind all of this. Right? And anything that happened. Because all the people I know within the movement, right, I know for a fact are not behind this because they're busy getting ready for a fucking local and general elections and European elections. They haven't got time to be planning all of this, right? All of these things that are happening are false flags, right? They're false flags to blame us because they're losing the narrative. We have seen journalists in this country, by the way, whose job is to report on the corruption that's festering this country. They're part of it. They're part of it. They're helping in their own cars, by the way. In their own cars. They're driving their own cars. And hauling them. And by the way, if they did it once, by the way, they were caught that time. Right? And this is the thing that Irish people need to wake up to. Well, if they were caught that one time, they've done it before. They were just caught that time. They've done this before. So not only is there bus coach loads going all over the country, these journalists are actually helping. And then they tried to frame us. And then when the journalist Paul Connolly gets called out, and then the people ask for a statement, they come out, oh, he's getting ready to do a documentary. Well, then why did he need the balaclava up? Why were they painting flags? Right? they were only doing one thing and one thing only. They wanted to incite trouble, so then he could have his camera crew on the ready to say, look at them, they're violent, they're the far right, they're this, that, and the other. And that's exactly what happened. When that didn't work then, when that didn't work, a couple of weeks later, or was it a couple of weeks later, or I think it was a week or two later, someone set the camp on fire. But they rebuilt that anyway, because these communities are not going to be bullied, right? They're not going to be, pushed away that easy. See, the thing about it is that if people around the world thought that the Irish people had gone soft and we'd gone lazy, like that seems to be the rhetoric with everybody out there that's reporting on this from outside of Ireland. Apparently we're all lazy and this, that, listen, the reason why our country hasn't fallen is because we got up, because we're not lazy. We're the opposite of all of those stereotypes that you have thrown out there, right? Concentrate on what's happening in our own countries, because our own countries have fallen, right? Our country has not fallen, and it won't fall. And it won't fall because of the resilience of the Irish people, because we've been through this throughout our history, and this is our test now. Our people have been tested throughout the centuries, right? I firmly believe this is a test, right? And all of those men, women, and children that died for the cause of this country, so I could have the freedom to have a voice, right? Those people that died, that was their test, right? And look what happened. Government after government after government just slowly but surely eroded their legacy. And now we face the test, and we can't fail, because we've got to protect their legacy. We've got to protect what they fought for. And they didn't fight for this Ireland. They certainly didn't fight for this Ireland, right? They didn't fight for an Ireland that was given up so easily and so freely by Irish governments, our sovereignty, right? An Irish government that was willing to let Europe take away our freedoms, right? That's not the country these people died for. They died for an Ireland that was truly independent. They'd be ashamed of every single one of you in Dáil Éireann. Because I can tell you, as an Irish man, I'm absolutely ashamed of you. And you know what? I've grown up a long time, and I've seen governments come and go. And while, as I said, those governments have been bad, right? This has to be the most corrupt, the most disgusting. I just do not. Do you know what? I would have to bleach the walls of that whole fucking building before I'd let anybody back in it again, because it's infested with cockroaches, and that's what they are. They're cockroaches. It's our job to protect the legacy of the people of the past and for future generations of our people. And it's our test. So we cannot fail. Because the alternative is, as someone said there, right, we'll become, and we will, because we're a small country, we will become the minority in our own country in a few decades. Well, at the level that they're bringing them in, it won't take decades. It won't actually take long, right? But that's the sad reality that we'll face. And you know what? That's why we have to do what we have to do. Because we'll never forgive ourselves as a people. And you know, there's some countries out there that woke up when it was too late. You know, and I was starting to think that was happening here. But the momentum swung it just swung. I don't know what the thing was, whether it was the customs house, whether it was the referendum, or it was a combination of all. But I could feel running up to that referendum that the momentum was with us. We haven't lost it since. So this is what I'd say to people in closing for this stream. And by the way, I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. We have 90 people watching right now. Next time, as I said, I'm going to try and get these out on a daily basis. So come and join me where I'll be talking and discussing some of these articles. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't been looking on X yet, but I'm pretty sure there are plenty of things for me to discuss for tomorrow, because this Irish government is just so absolutely ridiculous that it's. I'm baffled. I'm baffled how these idiots are running this country, if you can even call what they're doing running this country, but they're not. But look, I'll finish up by saying this. There's still some years in these communities that are probably afraid to show you their faces because of previous behaviours of the so-called far left in this country, or the radical left, whatever you want to call them. But look, the shyness has to go away now, right? And we have seen over these last couple of months that that's exactly what's happening. But if your community is running a local protest or a gathering, I would advise, or I would encourage you to try make it out, even if it's only for a few minutes, right? See, this is what people don't understand. You go out there. That's the thing, you know. And people need. There's still people out there that still haven't turned up at protests, that talk a lot in this movement, but you never actually see them at a protest. Those people too need to start turning up. Just talking online on YouTube channels is not enough, or whatever platform you talk on, right? You need to get out there, right? And I've seen plenty like Michael, who the lefties absolutely hate. He does YouTube videos, but he's also there at protests, right? So we need you guys that are trying to that are informing the Irish people, what's going on, to be actually there as well. Do you know what I mean? So I'd encourage everybody, wherever part of the community you're from, wherever part of the country you're from, town or village, if there's a local protest happening, please get out there if you can. Or if you can't get to that one and you know the date to the next one, then if you're working, take some time off, like a lot of people do on our side anyway, right? You make it up by doing their double shifts or whatever, their double or whatever, right? But this is the thing that the other side, all these people don't have jobs. Yet the main players in this movement, the majority of them have jobs. So look, we're not going to win this with just us. We need everybody out there now. Because as I said, this time next year we'll be in a worse off position, right? And by some, the only way that the current government wins the next election is if, as I said, well, they're already doing it with all the candidates that are putting forward. They're allowing migrants to actually, vote also in elections. So if there's if they do get in, they get in because they've obviously rigged it to get in, and we've got to stop that from happening. That's why we need numbers. And the farmers have showed their true colours. The farmers have sold out, having meetings with Simon Harris. I told people this a long time ago when people were putting out no farmers, no food. You know, I didn't jump on it straight away, you know, but then I eventually did, because then there was video of farmers actually going to protest. I thought, here we go. But it turned out it was a small faction of the farmers that broke off from the main faction, and it never materialized into anything, right? So I stopped support. Listen, I get it, no farmers, no food, but I would say this, you know, farmers don't support, if farmers are not willing to come out and support the Irish people when they're being screwed over by Europe, but are willing to have talks with the Taoiseach rather than get out there and actually bring this government down, well, then I have no time for you, and I don't support farmers. It's as simple as that. If you're not willing to stand side by side with the Irish people, why should I support yous? Right? So if Europe screw you even further, well, then that's his own fault, because you didn't get out and side with us. Right? Because the one thing that we're all fighting, the one common goal that we have, is we want to get this government out. It doesn't matter what issue you have. Right? We all have the same goal. We want this current government out. So if you're not willing to stand side by side with the Irish people, well, then you can go and screw off, as far as I'm concerned. You ain't no friend of mine. Right? So screw the Irish farmers. Until the Irish farmers grow a backbone and actually get out there, they do not have my support, and they certainly do not have my respect. It's as simple as that. I'm done with these people. You're not willing to fight for your fucking country, fight for your livelihood. Well, then get away. Don't be wasting my time. Anyway, I will leave it there. Now, I don't have an end trailer yet, because everything was done rather quickly, but we will do those little intros the way we've done them. Obviously, it'll have different text every stream that we do, but I will hopefully try get an old intro and outro, or definitely an outro anyway, or I'll make one up or something. But yeah, so we'll leave it there anyway. So I'll just leave you with the subscribe and like video. But I want to thank you all for joining me for the first of many live streams on this channel. I'll also throw up some videos and some shorts when obviously there's stuff that I want to highlight for you guys, and then you can give you our opinion on it. But I want to thank you for joining me for this one. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will talk to you for the next one, which more than likely, well, it will be tomorrow. As I said, I'm going to try to do these daily. Anyway, keep them to an hour normally, but as it's the first launch one, obviously we'll give a bit of leeway for that one. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you could share these streams, I really do appreciate it, because there's a lot of people out there that'll be obviously interested in the topics that we have spoke about today. So get that out there for me if you can. And I really do, as I said, appreciate all the support. But for now, I'll see you later. Have a good evening. For the rest of you that are in there, the old crew, I'll see you on the other channel where we'll be discussing some Doctor Who and Shooty Gatwa and stuff. So yeah, another racist coming out, playing the victim card. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Have a good evening, folks. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.